Up, everybody? Welcome back to Steel City Live here on Mike Drop Sports. Thank you for all coming through. What's up, Russ? What's up, Miss Pittsburgh? How are you guys in the chat already? Getting that like button fired up. Thank you. Appreciate it. As we get through another day of training camp here for your Pittsburgh Steelers. Here we are, back in action with the show as we talk some Steelers, man. And as always, again, guys, I appreciate you for stopping through. Any questions, comments, and concerns about today's developments, go ahead and drop them in there. We're going to discuss about a possible wide receiver target that the Pittsburgh Steelers may have that I was talking about the other day. Let me hit the do not disturb button. All right, we are in. Do not disturb is on. We are ready to roll. But if you remember, I kept teasing about knowing a little bit of news that I thought was important, but I didn't want to let that fly just yet because I wasn't 1000% sure that the rumor had any validity to it. But it seems that others are starting to report it now also. So there are some possible wide receiver targets for this Pittsburgh Steelers team. I want to talk about maybe George Pickens. Is he becoming a distraction already, or is this just that rough patch of getting started for your Steelers and George Pickens and allowing him a little bit of time to just get moving and a little bit of time to grow back into the season, getting his feet back underneath him? What about Calvin Austin? Reports talking about how he is running really crisp, nice routes. You're looking at a guy that many people haven't been talking about all offseason, and that was the rookie third rounder drafted here in 2024, Roman Wilson. Some of them so-called insiders are out there giving him high praise today after his performance at training camp. There's other reports that I take with a grain of salt because I feel that you can't evaluate some things that they're talking about Justin Fields of looting pass rush and all this stuff. Come on, man. He's going to elude every pass rush right now because you can't get hit. So, yeah, he's going to elude all the pass rushes. But, supposedly he's looking a little bit crisper. So, there's several things out there right now that we are going to dive into here on the Pittsburgh Steelers side of the house here. So, Steelers for Life 138, what's up, man? I'm ready for the season two. Ryan Dorn, what's up with Russ? Calf just a strain. Yeah, the good news about Russell Wilson, Ryan, for him in his injury update, he updated the media, as a matter of fact, himself. He said that if this was a game week, he would be already practicing and playing. I really, truly feel like this little bit of a strain. Yes, that's what it is, Ryan. It's just a slight strain. I believe that this is just a golden opportunity that the Steelers had just happen by, an odd circumstance, a little bit of an injury, to get to evaluate Justin Fields a little bit more intimately with that first team. It's working out in the favor of the Steelers right now in terms of evaluation in that way. Again, it's hard to evaluate a lot of these players. They're looking at footwork, really, is what they're looking at. They're looking at other little variables inside of not being able to play with pads. So, but just a slight calf strain. He should be back, ready to go, probably by next Tuesday when those pads come on. You should see Russell Wilson get his first time in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, as the starter, as the guy, running with the one. So you should see that probably Tuesday or Wednesday, I would say, from Russell Wilson. George T, what's up? If you want to get to 7, you got to raise a little hell. Hey, man, you do, man. You got to admit, too, guys, though, one thing I'm taking away from this camp session thus far here in the first 2 days is the vibe from the team is good. So you have to applaud that. You have to be excited for that if you're a Steelers fan. That's something that's really cool to see, that dynamic of how they all get along together, how they all interact with each other, how this whole thing is starting to progress and move along. It looks like a tight group. So we're going to be applauding that, hopefully throughout the whole season as they continue to grow with each other and continue to take the necessary steps to be winners, man. Steelers for Life can't believe he is already hurt. Yeah, honestly, it's just a tweak. you're going to get a lot of those too, Steelers for life. You're going to get a lot of those little silly injuries that are just tweaks and strains here as the players start to really ramp things up, getting back into that full speed type of these drills. You're not getting that during the mini camps and OTAs and things of that nature. They're really starting to ramp things up, getting through these conditioning tests. You're looking at these conditioning tests that have changed so much throughout the years. You look at how Bill Cowher used to run them. You used to talk about the 4 100s or the 6 100s and how they used to have to go 50 runs, sprint 50 in so many seconds, then jog back the other 50, then sprint again 50 in so many seconds, and they had to beat those times. You see so many different varieties of how these conditioning tests are done. So you're always going to see these little weird injuries. Players might not be used to going full tilt right away. So yeah, I'm not going to get too crazy, but it is kind of weird that he already is hurt. But it is what it is. I don't think it's anything major or any type of major news, no doubt about it. Terry Ward, what's up from Memphis? Glad to see Calvin Austin coming along. Yeah, hey, big Memphis guy there. Yeah, definitely a guy out of Memphis. Calvin Austin. I gotta applaud Calvin Austin, guys, and I think you also should too. I think Calvin Austin can be that slot target. Do I think that he deserves to be the number two? I don't think he fits as the number two. I think he fits excellent, though, as that slot guy, if you ask me. I like his combination of speeds. I like the mismatches that he will receive in the slot. I like the way that they could use him in the slot. I know the blocking thing might be a concern considering his size, but I think Calvin Austin has put in the work this offseason and deserves a real look there, a real shot there. To take that role, to take the reins as the slot receiver here, at least to start preseason games and things of that nature, just to start to see how this thing goes. Typically Calvin Austin, would be used more of like a gadgety type guy, but I think he can do a little bit more. You saw that touchdown in Las Vegas, then he went really quiet last year. Then boom, you see him in the playoff game in Buffalo where he was really starting to contribute and he was being used as a nice, a valuable target for Mason Rudolph last year in Buffalo in that game, scoring another touchdown, really doing things special in terms of running routes, being involved, making blocks, doing what he needed to do. I thought that he was really a valuable piece last year in that playoff game. I know they came up short, but I thought that he was one of the bright spots to come out of that game. But Calvin Austin definitely deserves that chance. He's working his ass off. Everybody sees it. Everybody's hearing it. Definitely, I think something to be proud of coming out of Memphis. No doubt, man. Theta 13, everybody gets them. He probably not even hurt. I don't think he's hurt horribly, Theta. Again, it's just one of those tweaky things. Players getting back involved, man, and you're going to see that a lot. You're never going to be as healthy as they were coming in day one. You're always going to have these little tweaks. I really don't think that it's any type of issue. I think that if there was any type of game of significance coming up or anything that required Russ to be out there, he would be out there, and I don't think it would be a giant deal. Steelers for life, 138. My only concern for Russ is age, and you're rightfully to be concerned about that. That you have every right in the world to be concerned about that because that is definitely something that can come into play. He's going to be 36 years old during this season, I believe. 35, 36 years old. You look at guys that hit that age typically start to slow down, start to decline a little bit in their NFL life. Now, there are some unicorns out there that have been able to do it a lot longer. But today's NFL, you look at too, nutrition, workout regimens, the way these guys are able to spend a lot of money to take care of their bodies. So you might get a few more years out of them before you start to see that massive decline. So maybe Russell Wilson finds that fountain of youth this season and is able to come back to that Russell Wilson of Seattle, so we'll see. But it's a definite thing to be concerned about. What's up, Miss Pittsburgh is in the building. Russ, what's up, George, Ryan? Oh, talking to them. Okay, sorry. Just trying to get through the chat. It's so cool you guys all talking to each other. It's awesome. Everybody hit that like button. Absolutely. But guys, now that we've got a little bit of the OGs in the house here, you guys that come in every day, again, what I was talking to Sean about last Thursday on the show and what I had heard and what I was starting to catch wind of was the possibility of DK Metcalf being a target of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the reports are now starting to filter out from other outlets that are confirming those suspicions, those rumors that I did hear, that DK Metcalf is a real target for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Omar Khan and some other folks have come out there. DK Pittsburgh Sports reported that there are 3 targets that the Pittsburgh Steelers have real want to go after, and that is Tyreek Hill of the Miami Dolphins. I'm not sure that fits because that's not the type of receiver I think the Steelers need to add to this mix. I think you already have a speedster in Calvin Austin. I think you're looking for a more bigger body target dude, a guy that can do more things in traffic and things of that nature. A bigger target is what I'm thinking that the Steelers are looking for, and that's why I think it should be somebody along the lines and the size of a DK Metcalf. You look at DK Metcalf's salary, the Steelers could get that done. They can make that work. They can figure it out. I don't see that to be a giant obstacle. But you look at DK Metcalf and you say to yourself, they signed him to some new money. They already have him signed there for a year or 2 more, I believe, something like that. I don't know his exact contract particulars. But there is Geno Smith there. You have Lockett. You have other guys there. That team is pretty set up right now to where they can be competitive in the NFC, a weak NFC, if you ask me. If you look at the NFC as a whole, to where you can make the playoffs if you have the right people in place, in which I think Seattle does. But you look at DK Metcalf, and if the Seattle Seahawks are willing to trade him off, the Steelers are going to be all in and jump on that, guys. This was from last week that I started to hear grumblings about that. I never wanted to say anything because I don't like to report, false things. But definitely that was something that was starting to take a little bit of shape last week, and things were starting to get going with those rumors. And if you look at the way he would fit into this Steelers wide receiving core, I think he adds the element that they need. A big body number 2, a 1A complementing George Pickens. George Pickens, who big catch radius, nice speed, sneaky speed, if you ask me. And his routes are getting a lot crisper. You just look at George Pickens' skill set and you look at DK Metcalf's skill set, and I think they would offset each other really well. And then you combine that with a possible third target, a third option in a Van Jefferson or a Roman Wilson. Then you look at Calvin Austin to come in and play that slot role at times, play the gadgety type guy at times. I think you add a real vast amount of versatility in that wide receiver room with that move. Just if you ask me, I think it would make sense if you ask me, just the fit wise. And it's a real possibility, guys. I think the Steelers definitely can and would want to make a move. They want to make a move there, but it's going to depend on all those other teams, man, whether they are willing to do it or not. And it isn't going to be for lack of trying on the Steelers' part. I think Omar Khan has exhibited and showed to you all as fans that he is definitely willing to get that done. %1 host. Thanks, Jace. Thank you, Russ. Glad to see you guys. Best show, best chat. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. We love the show, buddy. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Danny. Thank you, George T. Love the emojis, guys. Russ says, my gut says Cam and Najee both get new deals. Just a feeling. They can definitely do that. They can make those moves, and you're not far off, Russ. Definitely, in my opinion, I'm agreeing with you that there is space to do that. But I think it's all gonna fall, guys. You're gonna see a lot of this all go down once they really figure out whether a wide receiver target is a realistic option, whether they can get that done or not. Then you will see the other dominoes fall. You could see a Pat Freiermuth deal. You could see a Najee Harris extension. You could see a Cam Hayward extension. There are many other things that the Steelers could spend money on in terms of contracts with players that they have currently in place right now. They can make those work. And if that shoe falls to where they do get a wide receiver deal done, you may see those other deals maybe get done after the season. That's just my hunch, but definitely your gut feeling is probably right, Russ. If they don't get a wide receiver deal done, or if they get a wide receiver deal done that may not cost them a boatload, maybe then they go ahead and work out all those other deals. But you look at those deals and you say to yourself, that money won't come due till next year anyway. So they can make those deals probably anyhow. It probably doesn't matter because the money will be, next year. But you look at the quarterback situation and you say to yourself, what kind of money will be available after you figure out that, because you don't have a quarterback salary on the books now. The salary stuff is so complicated. You look at it and you think one way, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, that makes sense, or that could be different. That could change. Yeah, so it's definitely something that could make you want to rip your hair out. Love the emojis. Absolutely. Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Russ. Tyrone Johnson think the Steelers target Luther Burden. I didn't hear that, but I don't rule anything out, Tyrone. Russ Pat made some catches again today as well as Van. Yeah, you're looking at these guys and you say to yourself, you're able to really probably get a better look at football in shorts and a helmet. You could probably get a better idea about receivers. You can get a better idea about them because you're watching their footwork. You're watching the way they come off the line. You're watching, can they stay low and keep their body low coming off in that first 5 yards to where they're accelerating fast. They're able to get through that bump and run, that aggressive style play in the NFL when they come up and play that press. You're looking at those things. You're looking at so many different things with the receivers, their route trees, so you can get a good look at them. So definitely those catches that they're making are definitely valuable. It's tough for me to evaluate like offensive line, quarterback play, because you can't get hit. You have no real pass rush. It's really hard to simulate that because you don't want those guys to get hurt anyway, even when the pads are on. You hear guys talking about, who were they talking about today that I heard? DeMarvin Leal. They, just take him for instance. They were saying how he looks so much better this season so far in training camp. I heard it from a couple players or a couple media outlets talking about that, and I'm just finding it really hard to know what you're looking at when you're gauging that because there is no pads on. Those types of things that we're really going to have to wait till next week to really see how they go. But Pat Freiermuth, Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin, George Pickens, all those guys that are out there catching passes, I think are going to be definitely really, really valuable. I want to bring up another thing, too, about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I've been thinking about this all day, and you look at the tight end room, and when Russ brought up Pat, it made this pop into my head. You look at how other teams in the past have been effective utilizing the tight ends, and you find yourself thinking how valuable that really is and what a luxury it is to have that tight end room be special and be able to do a lot of different things. Because I think it takes a average team around them, a true average team. And if you have awesome tight end play, then they're really versatile and you can do a lot of different things with them. I think it takes an average team to a really good team. And I think it makes a team that's average that could get beat any Sunday to a team that, doesn't lose a lot of games. That is really tough to play because of that tight end room. I really think that, guys, that being the focus of Arthur Smith, you're seeing it early and often already. I think that that's going to be really the most valuable asset the Steelers have on offense. It's not going to be, I don't think, the wide receivers and what they can do. I think it's going to be how dominant those tight ends are and exactly what they're able to do, because I think that they can really be chain movers this season here in 2024. I think they could really be great safety valves for whoever's playing quarterback and really elevate the offense to an elite level quickly. And again, it takes an offense that is in a rebuild phase that's trying to find its identity and moves them up the food chain, up the ladder really, really quickly, and allows them to be really, really good. And I think it's going to be something really awesome to see. And you look at the tight ends they have and you say to yourself, man, if they learned how to use those guys correctly, they do the right things with those guys and put them in the good positions to succeed, Man, they could be dangerous there. They could be real, real dangerous. TD, I heard that way the defense has looked so far, it could be the top ranked defense this year. They'd probably look really good. I can't wait till the pads come on, TD, to really see and get an accurate assessment. One thing that you heard here on Mike Drop Sports right after he was drafted, and you heard a lot of media outlets saying, no undrafted guys should be even out there playing. The chances are no. They didn't really have high hopes for him, but I really found it to be a quality player and a real steal out of this draft. An undrafted free agent signing was Beanie Bishop. And you look at him today getting those starter reps in the slot position at cornerback. And I think that Beanie Bishop definitely showed that he can get the job done. He showed that today. There's many people praising his play today. And you heard that here on this channel a few weeks ago, right after that draft and the mini camps. And we were really having high hopes for him. Another player you look at, and that is Corey Trice out there with no knee brace, really getting to play, really getting to be involved. And I think that the Steelers really have gotten a lot better. And I've been saying this all offseason. They've quietly gotten a lot better in that cornerback room. And I know I said this even before Cam Sutton was signed, that the Steelers definitely did a good job with the young talent they have in that building at the cornerback position. Because I really think you could have a couple monsters in Joey Porter Jr. and Corey Trice, similar body style, really be able to play aggressive at the line of scrimmage, really be able to be really, really big on the punishing play at the line of scrimmage for opposing wide receivers. You look at Dante Jackson, he has speed. You look at Darius Rush, and hopefully he takes the next step. I just think that they are really put in place here right now to be actually pretty special in that cornerback room, guys. So let's not discount that just because Cam Sutton is going to be suspended for those first 8 games. Let's not sit here and think that they have to go out there and make any monster move and bring in another cornerback. You look at, they got guys too like Anthony Averett that can make this team, that could really do some special things also. I think this is one of the few years here in recent memory that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been ultra solid, in my opinion, at that cornerback position, to where it isn't a monster concern right now for me. I really think that they have done a great job there at accumulating talent. Agreed, Jason. Got to see what they pay. Yeah, you got to see, man. Russ, TD, I'm hearing the same thing. I think it'll be top defense. Dante Jackson's looking really good. I'm worried about stopping Derrick Henry. Theta 13. Look at how the Steelers over the course of Derrick Henry's career, when they've been able to match up with Derrick Henry, look at how well they've played him. He hasn't destroyed the Steelers in any game that I can remember. I think the Steelers do an excellent job at controlling Derrick Henry. I think they know what that team wants to do with Derrick, and they are able to meet that physicality 9 times out of 10. Derrick Henry is a special player. He can get things done, but I do like the Steelers' chances against him. I think that they can play that run really, really well. I like the way the inside linebackers are going to also match up with speed and run stuffing ability this season. I think you'll be able to still spy a guy like Lamar Jackson, control his running abilities, and at the same time still be able to come downhill and smash up Derrick Henry a little bit to where you can control his running threat, So I'm definitely thinking that the Steelers will be okay in that category. All right, guys, we're about 24 minutes into the show. Make sure you're hitting the shit out of that like button for us here on Steel City Live as we are recapping day 2 of the Pittsburgh Steelers in St. Vincent's College for the start of the 2024 season, really here with training camp. Let me get a drink. I'm not worried about Henry. Played good against. Yeah, no doubt. Me too. I think so too, Russ. Players don't want to tackle Big Darnell. Seen players move out of his way. I wouldn't want to tackle him either. Beanie is my camp phenom. Yeah, we've been talking about him, haven't we, Russ, for a long time. Tyrone Johnson, college wide receiver, top receiver in the 2025 draft. They may, man. That may be the path, because you got to think of this, Tyrone. You look at the receivers that could come out in 2025. If the Steelers aren't able to get a deal done here in 2024, you know how they are. They are able to find that wide receiver talent 9 times out of 10. I'm not saying that they haven't whiffed in a big way at times with some of their picks, because they have, but they've been able to find that talent, man. So that definitely could be a target. If they aren't able to get a big name here this offseason, before the start of the regular season, or maybe they just get a guy that's a 1 year type rental, and then they go out and find another big name in the in the draft. Maybe that's how the road they take, man. Russ says we're stacked at corner and safety. I like to think that we got some pretty good players. Absolutely. Love the emojis, George. Absolutely. I think that definitely we got some really quality talent there with the safeties. You look at Deshaun Elliott and you say to yourself, what a special addition to that back end. Again, guys, I've said it a million times, and I want to repeat it one more time, that Deshaun Elliott is going to give Minkah Fitzpatrick his versatility back. He's going to do the things that Minkah doesn't want to do or doesn't need to be doing because of his excellent ball hawk skills, the way he can track a football, the way he can cause some big splash plays. And you look at Deshaun Elliott, he isn't afraid to come down in the box, play run support. He's not afraid to support those middle linebackers, take away some of those potential mismatches that other opposing offenses may pose onto the Steelers, to where, those things aren't as big of a threat when you have a guy of a Deshaun Elliott's talent level. You look at his ability to also make some plays back there, and his splash play ability. I look for him to have several of those this season. So definitely, I really think the Steelers have gotten quietly a lot better in that secondary, and I think it's going to be a real strength, to where you've had major question marks over the last, has 5 years or so, 5 or 6 years or so. You've had question marks there. You've always had monster gaps, to where you're worried about injuries, and you think to yourself, you're an injury away from really being thrown all over, to where you're not going to be able to stop the pass. And you've seen that happen before with the Steelers here in the last half decade or so. The Luther Burden dude is going to be good. Yeah, he could be really, really good. No doubt about it. All right, guys, make sure you're putting your comments, questions, and concerns as we continue to talk Pittsburgh Steelers here on day 2. You look at another signing here throughout the NFL, and that is Tua Tagovailoa. Reaching a massive deal, now making about $10 million more per season than one Josh Allen. I believe it's $212 million or so. I believe that's what the deal is for Tua Tagovailoa. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't know. I wouldn't pay Tua Tagovailoa a deal that it reaches $212.4 million, with $167 million fully guaranteed, $53.1 million per season. He is now the 7th NFL quarterback making over $50 million annually, and the 15th making $40 million or more. You look at these quarterback salaries, they are massively inflated. You look at the ownership talking about trying to put a cap on some of these numbers, because they are getting a little bit out of control in the quarterback space. And you're looking now at guys like Tua, whom doesn't scare me if I'm playing against him. He's not a scary quarterback to play against, in my eyes, at least. When I look at the other talent in the NFL at the quarterback position, I don't think he's top 6, top 7. I don't even know if he's in the top 10, if you ask me. I don't think he's that good. And you look at him now making over $50 million per season. And you ask yourself, how does that even happen? People are desperate, man, to find that franchise guy. And I just don't think Jalen says his weapons make him who he is. Yeah, he's not that dude, no doubt, Jalen. In my eyes, you're right. The weapons do make him who he is. But even with those weapons, they weren't able to beat the Chiefs this playoff season. They weren't able to beat some of the teams that they were supposed to beat, at times. They stumbled. You watched them go into Baltimore and get their ass beat by the Ravens. It's just not a scary team, if you ask me, with Tua Tagovailoa under center, especially with his concussion history, his injury history as a whole. He's just not that dude, if you ask me. He's not worth $50 million, and you look to yourself and say, would you rather have Russell Wilson or Tua Tagovailoa? I'd rather have Russell Wilson making $1.2 million as opposed to Tua Tagovailoa making $52.25 million or whatever he is making. Russ says, had my dates wrong on family reunion. It's next weekend. My wife and daughter and I are leaving Friday. My wife is telling me I can leave Thursday, and could go late trip Thursday and Friday. That's awesome, man. I don't know if I'm going to make it up there tomorrow either. My son got to work, and I got to take him, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it up there. Probably not. I'm going to probably have to use one of my other days. Highlight day. Yeah, it is good. TD Tua is one more concussion from being out of the game. Yeah, and then the Miami Dolphins being on the hook for what is it, 167 million fully guaranteed. Jalen, if you can't play in the cold, I'm not worried. Laugh my ass. I think some of these guys really can't play in the cold. You're right, and that is the truth. It kind of scares you, you know what I mean? When you get some of these guys and you say to yourself, well, shit, you're going to face all types of adverse conditions during the season. I need a guy that can at least play when it's warm and cold. I need a guy that can do a little bit of that. I don't know. He's just not special, if you ask me. I think there's way more highly efficient quarterbacks in the NFL that he is making more money than now, and it's like kind of just shocking to me. Russ, if I leave Thursday, won't piss family off by blowing off reunion and going Saturday, would ride bike if I wasn't for rotator cuff, but may get lucky with it feeling better and wrap it up. Yeah, man, wrap it up and go. Get on that bike. You only live once, Russ. You only live once. All right, guys, make sure you're hitting that like button. Let's get those likes up here on a Friday. Getting a little drink. Tyrone says they keep saying Steelers going to get a trade for high-end wide receivers, rather pay Pickens in draft round in round one. I reported it last week. I told you guys that the Steelers were looking at a wide receiver target. I didn't want to reveal what that target was, Tyrone, but I did today since I'm starting to see reports come out about it. I told Sean, that was the only person that I had told. But definitely you look at guys like DK Metcalf, they might be still in on Brandon Ayuk, which I can't even talk about anymore. There's others, but we'll see. There's definitely players out there that the Steelers are in play for, so it's been confirmed with that. So we'll see how that all unfolds, but I like the chances of getting somebody, definitely, but I don't know which route they take. Could they take that route of drafting another guy? Do they have enough firepower? In my eyes, I think they have enough firepower to compete in the 2024 campaign. I do. And I think that they could definitely get stepping in the right direction with that group. And I think there's talent in that room that's being overlooked, like guys like Van Jefferson, guys like Roman Wilson that I think are going to take a nice jump here about midway through the season, should start to really get moving. I think Calvin Austin's going to take a real true year 2 leap. He's going into year 3, but had his rookie season wiped out due to injury. But I really think Calvin Austin is going to take that real jump this year. And I know I've been critical of his size, and rightfully so, because he is greatly undersized. But if you have the work ethic of Calvin Austin, I'm going to give you the chance, man. And I really like your chances when you come out and go to work every day like he has been. What do you think of Waddle? I think he is a excellent talent, James. Jalen Waddle is a guy that is an up-and-coming star of this league, if not already a star in this league. I think he is a phenomenal young talent, and definitely I think the Miami Dolphins hit a home run with Jalen Waddle. The question is, how do you continually pay two big-name wide receivers and Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle? Then you got a monster inflated quarterback salary now, $50 million plus per season. You ask yourself that, how do teams manage those cap numbers? And it becomes difficult, and you end up sacrificing in the depth department. And as we always talk here on the channel, depth is key to winning a championship. And when you have to sacrifice so greatly in the depth department by getting super cheap players that may necessarily not be good fits for your ball club, then you find yourself in trouble, and that's what they call cap hell. And it can happen. It can happen very easily once you start getting too many overpaid people out there. Feet of 13, I really think this is our year, especially in our division. I really have high hopes for the division also, man, because the Steelers last year putting that 5-1 record out in the AFC North, and I feel like the roster has gotten better. I feel like the Steelers as a whole definitely have gotten better since that campaign, and they went 5-1, and I think they could definitely look at a 4-2 record this season. In the division, I think that's probably where you set your sights. Probably about a 4-2 record. That would be really good season within the division. 5-1 again. That would be really awesome. It's very hard to go undefeated within your division because you see these teams so many times. They know how to play you, so it's very hard. But if you look at the Steelers' record since 2020, they own the Baltimore Ravens. They own the Browns. The only team to really give them any trouble is the Bengals, and they're 500 with them since 2020. So you look at the Steelers and you say to yourself, they really play the division well. So definitely something to be excited about. Tyrone Johnson, DK Metcalf would be a sight to see. Yeah, and if you ask me, out of all those receivers, Tyrone, he fits best in my eyes because you're looking for a bigger body guy. I think so anyway, because you look at the way Arthur Smith is wanting to use these tight ends, the big body tight ends. I think he would fit perfectly into that situation. I just really think with the Steelers' proposed scheme for 2024 offensively, and the talent that a guy like a DK Metcalf would bring, I think he makes the most sense because I think you have other wide receivers in the building that can do other things, and you're creating such a versatile room, in my opinion, when you add a guy like DK. James Civil, Akeem, Tua, and Waddle will take the Dolphins into their next phase. Tua sucks, man. I'm not going to sit here and act like I think Tua's a good quarterback because I don't think he's worth that kind of money. I think it was a massive overpay. A guy with crazy amount of concussions. A guy that just isn't a quarterback that can throw a team on his shoulders and carry them through a playoff win. Because there's times in a season, guys, that you have to have your quarterback be a true soldier and be able to do those types of things, be able to carry a football team, be able to make critical plays at critical times. And if you look at Tua Tagovailoa as in the NFL right now as it sits, are you really that excited about going into meaningful games with Tua Tagovailoa, who totally flopped in KC, in the playoffs? I'm not excited about it. And when you start to lose some of the talent around you due to your significant financial obligation that the team needs to pay you 52 point whatever million per season, and now you're going to start to lose the depth around you, some of the talent around you, because they're not going to be able to afford it. That shows your true colors then, because then he has to be that guy. He has to start to be able to throw the team on his shoulders a little bit and live up to the paycheck. That's just my opinion, and I think that Tua definitely is going to come back down to earth in a lot of people's minds once they start to see some of that talent fade away. There is a very brief window here, guys. a very brief window. It's where you can win with guys that are on cheap contracts, and that's why I'm not a big proponent of letting guys sit for many years. I want them to get in there and play. I'll give you a year or so, but I'd like to see them get in there and play relatively quickly because you get into these contracts and it becomes hard to put talent around those people. Lindsay, welcome back to the Mafia. Lindsay just joined back up. She's been a member before. So, welcome back to the Mic Drop Mafia. Appreciate it. Let me see here. Sorry, I got messed up here. Russ, I think Van, CA3, and Roman can all be number two guys. Calvin is working harder than ever. Amen, man. They all have the potential to do something really special. I definitely agree with that. Jalen Arrington. I kind of hope we land DK. When I think of George, Roman, Quez, Van, I think of precision and speedsters. I feel like we need a big target that just throws off DBs. Absolutely, Jalen. I think you're thinking exactly the way I'm thinking here right now. You look at that wide receiver room and you say to yourself, what's the missing piece? What do they need? And that is a big body, physical guy, a guy that is going to still have the athleticism of one of those guys that you mentioned, but yet has that big body type that can do maybe some other things that they can't. And I think that just fits really, really well. Definitely think it would be a very intriguing signing. I think it makes this Steelers offense that much better. And I think already they're leaning toward being pretty good if they can get the offensive line figured out. I'm not going to get on that soapbox just yet again, but definitely have to figure that out. But the tight ends, if they're able to use them in the way that I think they are trying to use them, in the way they want to deploy those guys in that scheme, I think this could be a really special offense. I definitely do. Looks like the Marvin Leal is finally stepping up. He knows it's time now, or he's gone. Yeah, Russ. I mean, I'll take you guys' word for that. But I can't see how anyone evaluates him without pads on. You know what I mean? Unless you're looking at like his steps and speed and all that, maybe that's what we're looking at. That's what the reporters are talking about. But I hope he does because honestly, if you look at Liao and you look at when he came out in the draft, you say to yourself he probably could have went a little bit higher in terms of how his talent was evaluated. Maybe though he was picked in the right spot considering what he's been able to do so far in the NFL. So maybe his value was actually correct where they drafted him, but maybe even a little high for where they drafted him for what he's been able to do. But hopefully he does step up. I'd love to see that, man, definitely, and see DeMarvin succeed. Because if you see a guy like DeMarvin Leal succeed, that starts to take away a little bit of a hole that I think the Steelers were in along that defensive front. Tyrone, I'll check out Luther, Russ. How about Troy being at camp? His boys are ball boys. Shazier's intern coach and other vets showing up. That's a huge asset. I like it, and I seen that Troy was talking a lot with Minka. They had a lot of one-on-one time, and who better to learn from than Troy Polamalu, especially with what you're going to be asking Minka to do yet again this season. You want Minka to come back to what he was when the Steelers first got him from the Miami Dolphins, when they gave up a number one pick, a first round pick. You want him to be that guy again, going after the football, being a freelancer out there. And again, I think adding a guy like Deshaun Elliott, having a guy like KC back there with that trio, I think Minka is going to be able to do those things yet again. And I think that's what we are definitely super excited to see. And I applaud them. I love to see the veteran guys there. You look at you see Joey Porter Sr. there. You're talking about Shazier being an intern coach. You're looking at Troy. You're looking at the way these guys are being involved, and that's only a plus for the Steelers. Absolutely. Russ says Tua and Danny Dimes way overpaid and suck. I agree 1,000%, Russ. Theta 13, DK would cause so much chaos for defenses. I'm thinking just like that. Yeah, all this game is about, guys, in football in general, at any level, is what? Creating chaos, creating mismatches, creating uncomfortable situations. And that is the exact truth. If you're a coach out there or you're forming a ball team and you're going into to a game, that's all you should be thinking about is how to make the other team uncomfortable and to get them off schedule. You know, you need to know how to do that, and that comes from film study, and that comes from what the Steelers are trying to scheme up here in terms of how they want to approach this season on offense and how they want to approach it on defense. I think defensively they're going to be very good at disrupting opposing offenses, and offensively I think they're well on their way to being able to do that if things pan out the way that they're supposed to, and maybe you make an addition like a DK Metcalf. George T says DK would be wide receiver one. I don't. I agree. Probably he would be with where George is currently in his career. I think by the end of the season, if George can get his head out of his ass, I think he would emerge as the so-called number one. I'm really not much for numbering them though, and I see why they do on the depth chart. You know all that. I'm more for put the packages out there that create the most mismatches, the most chaos, the most uncomfortable feeling for the opposing defense. Whoever that may be. And you're looking at the skill set of each player and matching them up per the situation. Whether it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Just utilize your talent, man. And I know why they do it. It's just, it is what it is. Russ, only valuing guys sitting are QBs, not other players. Yeah, QBs sitting probably probably for a year is probably wise, honestly. But man, with the Steelers the way they are on this offensive line, and again, guys, you know my thoughts about Dan Moore Jr. I'm sorry. You know it doesn't work if you're Mike Tomlin. You know it doesn't work if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have guys that I'd be more excited about beyond the high draft picks that the Steelers have got here over the last couple seasons that I'd be more excited about seeing getting an opportunity other than Dan Moore Jr. There's guys like Dylan Cook on this roster that I'd be more excited about seeing. There's other guys that I'd be happier to see than Dan Moore Jr. I'm sorry. I've got to see him. You guys have got to see Dan Moore Jr. play. And what's there to be excited about? He just doesn't bring that level of excitement, that level of, man, I'm pumped for this season because Dan Moore Jr. is going to be in that lineup. You're not saying that as a fan, and they're not saying that as a coaching staff. Maybe they are. Maybe they are truly insane. I don't know. Hey, let's call Queen. I love Patrick Queen. Call him Speed Queen. Yeah, like the dryer at the laundromat. Speed Queen. Yeah, man. I remember using those back in the day. They had the big sign on there, Speed Queen. Dude, we need to get him one of those logos, Speed Queen, for his chain. You know he always has those big-ass chains on there. Russ, my debit card got compromised again, so we'll have to put new card on file. Hope it tells me how. Gotta wait for a new card. Everyone check your cards. My Venmo compromised by Organic Gardens. Man, dude, there's so much theft out there, Russ. Hopefully you get it straightened out, man. It's horrible what people do to others' hard-earned money, man. It's sickening. It's like, leave people's shit alone, dude. Nothing burns my ass more than that. Theta 13, you think they trade for Pickett for DK? Because if we keep Pickett and DK, that's nasty. Oh, Pickens, you mean? No, I don't think any acquisition would involve moving on from George Pickens. I think the whole sole purpose of bringing another wide receiver in is to add a true number 2 or 1A. I don't foresee any part of the Pittsburgh Steelers' current wide receiver room being involved in any type of trade package for anybody. Maybe a lower tier guy. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, but I wouldn't see that happening, Theta. Wow, that's crazy, Russ. That's bullshit. What's up, Justin Jefferson for life? John Broadway, thanks for this show. Good night and see you, John. Have a good one, man. We're going to go for a little bit longer here, guys, on our Friday edition of the show here on Steel City Live. Let's get those likes up. You can hit the like button by 3 little white dots up in the right-hand corner of your screen. That's a drop-down box that you can hit like. You can back out of the live chat and hit it, all that fun stuff, or just hit it before you leave when the show's over. But again, I appreciate you all for stopping through as we continue to talk Pittsburgh Steelers here, day 2 of training camp at St. Vincent's College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, as the Pittsburgh Steelers embark on this 2024 campaign. And the Steelers have a lot going on surrounding this football team. You look at what they have to get done in terms of in-house cleanup, man. You're looking at Cam Hayward. Do you continue to do business with Cam beyond the 2024 season? Najee Harris, do you continue to do business with him beyond this year? What about Pat Freiermuth? Are you comfortable with him and his injury history? Or are you willing to give him some new money? Do you look at Dan Moore Jr. and you say to yourself, is he just a placeholder, or the Steelers going to just continually waste the talent of Broderick Jones, leaving him at the right tackle position and not allowing the other young talent to grow? There's a lot of questions here. You ask yourself, is this defensive backfield what you would like? I think so. I think it's going to be one of the better defensive backfields in the league. I think this secondary has quietly gotten a lot better. I've been saying it all off season. You look at some of the players that they've gotten through undrafted free agency. You look at the draft class that they've got. There's so many things to be excited for here in this offseason, this training camp period, that it has to really be exciting to be a Steeler fan right now in my eyes. Russ, wow, found a piece of mail from my B-Day last year that just played in corner and forgot about was brother-in-law and your poster play where Jerome destroyed Urlacher and signed by Bet. Dude, that's an awesome picture. I remember when he ran him over when it was snowy. That was a real turning point in Steelers history, guys. The moment that Russ is talking about where Jerome Bettis ran over Brian Urlacher in that game versus Chicago, a must-win game for the season for the Steelers in that Super Bowl winning season, to where that game totally turned the fortunes of the Pittsburgh Steelers around there in the 05 season, where they went on to beat the Seattle Seahawks in the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 40. Ben Roethlisberger being the youngest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl at that time. You look at Hines Ward becoming the Super Bowl MVP in that game. Just what a magical year that was for the Steelers. A lot of growth, a real turning point in their history, getting them back into the Super Bowl win column in the modern era of football in the NFL, really solidifying their place in history as one of the top franchises, you know? Danny George, Jason, you have a show on Saturday. I don't usually, but we probably will tomorrow, Danny. I'm thinking probably about 6 o'clock tomorrow we'll do one because of training camp. So while training camp's going on, we'll take advantage of that. We'll do a little recap of the day. And again, I might be there, I might not be. As always, guys, if you're going to training camp, keep an eye out for us here at Mike Drop Sports to be up there. Don't be afraid. Come up, talk to us. Let's have some cool conversation. I want to get people on the channel. I got some questions I wrote down that I want to ask people when I meet people up at camp to answer and put on the channel. I think that would be really fun to get to put a face to some of the names that we hear and see so often inside of our chat from our loyal listeners here on Mike Drop Sports. And as always, guys, if you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribing. We are well on our way to 5,000. We want to continue to march toward that goal. We are almost to 4 now, so we want to hit 5,000 here. We wanted to hit it before camp, but let's hit it before camp ends, definitely. But we love to have you, man. So hit subscribe. I'd truly appreciate it. Justin Jefferson forever. A massive fire down in the mountains in California and Oregon. Oh, man. Damn, dude, that sucks. Those big-ass fires are very dangerous, man, and they torch so many houses on the path, man. It sucks. Hate to see that. Jalen Arrington, JPJ, is my pick for biggest head turner this season. And you are wise to say that, my friend, because Joey Porter Jr. is going to be an absolute stud in this league, barring injury, barring anything crazy happening. Joey Porter Jr. is on a trajectory to be a massive superstar inside of the NFL. To be a real shutdown corner in this league, in my opinion, and a real playmaker. TD, I think Russ will take the weekend off at least and back sometime next week when they put the pads on. Yeah, TD, I said at the beginning of the show, you look for Russell Wilson probably Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. I believe the first padded practice is probably Tuesday. I'm not sure if they work on Monday or not, but look for that though for sure. You will see Russell Wilson next Tuesday, Wednesday time frame. So yes, definitely keep an eye out for that. Theta 13, get rid of all of them and get DK. You never know. Justin Jefferson forever. They will either have death penalty or jail for life for lighting those fires. They should get the death penalty. You shouldn't light those fires, man. You're putting too many people in danger, man. You're risking major catastrophe. Russ says, felt like shit, called brother-in-law and explained. He said he was shocked I didn't call and thank him. Now he knows why. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. Theta 13, DK in the Steelers uniform. Oh my God. Yeah, that would be something to be excited about. Russ, Jason, do you know anything about safety? Menierez, here's some good stuff about him, but don't hear much on him from anyone else. Russ, no, but I will look into that for you because I'm not familiar with him. This 90 man is very big, man, and I got to be honest with you, it's very hard to keep up with every single player for sure. But I will definitely look into that because that's something interesting to talk about for sure. But hey, guys, maybe the DK thing comes true, man. I told Sean about it last Thursday, I believe. Last Thursday on the show, everybody's like guessing, and nobody guessed DK at all. I probably would have told you somebody to guess him, but I kept saying no to everybody. But dude, it might end up being like the Russell Wilson thing. When I told Sean like 2 weeks before it happened, I'm like, hey, dude, this is going down. I told him how I found out, and he's like, no. And then, boom, it happened. Yeah. I had told one other person about the Russ thing too, and they had like told me I was absolutely batshit crazy, that I didn't know what I was talking about, that I was an idiot and shit. And then, boom, there it happened. So, but hey. You never know. Sometimes I'm a good guesser, man. All right, guys, let's start wrapping up the show here as we approach our hour mark here on Steel City Live, only on Mic Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. Again, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed already. We will do a show tomorrow about 6:30 tomorrow. Let's shoot for about 6:30 after training camp wraps up. You're looking at a 1:55 practice tomorrow. So if you're going up to Latrobe, Pennsylvania, that's the start time for practice. It will be another unpadded practice. But probably get you a little bit better opportunity to interact with the players since they won't be as beat up and shit from hitting and things of that nature. So it might be a good day for the fan base to get out there and meet your favorite Pittsburgh Steelers player. But I will warn you this, if you go to Latrobe for training camp on the weekend, expect there to be a shit ton of people there. It's better to go during the week if you have the opportunity here through the summer, because when you go on the weekend, it is going to be an absolute madhouse. The lines at the food trucks and shit will be huge. Dude, and also, when you go up there, they have this like lemonade vendor, and they're making like all this shit lemonade, dude. There are so many damn bees up there. So if you're allergic to bees, make sure you're watching the hell out, dude. Ross, Jason, if you're at camp next Thursday or Friday, you must get me on camera. I'm such a handsome guy. You will get so many. Oh, God. Well, hey, Russ, I hope you can help me out. I'll do it, man. We'll meet up. It might actually be an opportunity to do one of those days. We'll see what happens here, man. But guys, remember, if you're planning on attending camp, the only way to get in is through Ticketmaster. You have to go on there and get a ticket through Ticketmaster. So also, guys, another exciting thing that I am working on here. Hey, what's up, Sean? I hope you're feeling better, buddy. But another thing I am working on, I got approved to be an sponsored kind of deal, like an affiliate sponsor with SiriusXM. So I might have a link for a little bit of a cheap deal to get some SiriusXM radio, and you could help support the channel at the same time with them. So I'm working on how to figure out how to get all the banners and shit onto the chat, or not the chat, but the description of the video and stuff like that, so you guys can support the channel that way also. Just trying to come up with some other ways, but we got approved for that, and we'll see what happens, though. We're growing here. Thank you, Miss Pittsburgh. I appreciate you. George T, that wildfire in Canada last year was nauseating for weeks last year here in PA. Yeah, the freaking smoke came the whole way down. I remember that, man. It was absolutely crazy. As Sean would say, there ain't no party like a mic drop party. Still sick, but I'm alive. What's up, Jason? Hey, George. How's it going, man? Well wishes for you, brother. I know what it's like. I was down and out there a couple weeks ago, man, trying to do the show. I was feeling bad, bro, bad. But definitely back in action now. All right, guys, is there anything else that anybody wants to talk about here on day 2 of the Steelers training camp sessions here? Throw it in there real quick. We're about to bust out for the night, and we will be back tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with day 3 of training camp. A little bit of a recap. As we continue to move through this 2024 offseason, we will take full advantage of practices and things that are going on surrounding your favorite football team here. As the NFL season is quickly approaching, guys, the first preseason game is in the middle of August or at the beginning of August. So that is about to go, man. So that's going to be awesome. Sam Mason defense is going to be ferocious. Can't wait. Hey, man, I'm hoping it's a top 3 defense, man, for sure. Russ, okay, just came to me. Got brand new on-field Troy jersey. It would sell for $600. Always wanted it signed. Figured never got a chance, but maybe I can see since Troy's there. Yeah, dude, go up and do that. That would be sweet. Sweet. And mic drop party, just saying, don't quit. Yeah, no doubt. All right, guys, we're going to bust out of here. Thank you again for joining us. I appreciate it here on our Friday show. But until tomorrow, I'm Jason. This is Mic Drop Sports. Peace. Hey, hit that like button.